question of authority was an important one along the way. I can remember my dad was raised Catholic, and left the church subsequently, and I can remember debating this exact point with him about the question of authority and sort of relating it. Again, I'm a political science major, and so I related it to the way that the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution, right? So my dad would say, well, many of the things the church says is unscriptural, and I say, well, it's only unscriptural in the same sense that Supreme Court decisions are unconstitutional, right? The church, the magisterium, the tradition is the interpretation of the Scripture, and the Scripture is always the kernel, the root, the core of it. And so, so this question of authority then is, the real question is, who has the authority to interpret the Scripture? And I think that a big problem with Protestantism is they can't answer that question. It ends up just being kind of, at best, maybe a loose, well, I'll say in the tradition I was raised in, which is an independent Bible church, effectively, it was the pastor or the individual, right? And that was it. It's this sort of individual, you read the Scripture and the pastor tells you what it means, and you either agree or you disagree, and that's about as far as it goes. And so there's really no sort of larger connection to the larger, again, the tradition. And so this question of authority, yeah, I mean, it was an issue, but once I accepted that the church was the authority, it was liberating, right, in a certain way, because I no longer had to, I was welcome to, but no longer had to kind of struggle over every scripture and sort of wonder whether this or that particular, again, going back to the parsing of the Greek, my Greek is pretty bad, okay? So I can't compete on that level. But what I can say is that the church says this, and you can go kind of as far down that hole as you want, the rabbit hole as you want, and find out, why it is. So, you kind of have the option of either taking it just on authority or kind of tracing the roots of the thing, and the church will go as deep as you want to go with it.